Myself Soumya, and I'm from second sem MSc Biotechnology. My topic is regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes. So, general introduction. Gene expression in eukaryotes is a combination of the transcription of DNA to RNA, the processing of transcribed mRNA, and the translation of mRNA to a protein. And then gene expression is the process by which the information encoded by a gene is used in the synthesis of a gene product that may be a protein or a RNA. Regulation of gene expression includes a wide range of mechanisms that are used by cells to increase or decrease the production of specific gene products. So it is a process by which the information from a gene is used in the synthesis of functional gene product. So the classification of genes based on expression is of two types: constitutive, also called as housekeeping genes, or controllable, also called as inducible genes. Constitutive genes are expressed at a fixed rate irrespective of cell division. Their structure is similar. Controllable or inducible genes are expressed when needed, and their amount may increase or decrease with respect to their basal level in different conditions. Their structure is little complicated with some response elements. So in terms of regulation, gene expression is of two types: positive regulation, negative regulation. Positive regulation is a expression of genes is quantitatively increased by the presence of specific regulatory elements, and this is known as positive regulation. And the elements which modulate this type of regulation are called activators or positive regulators. Negative regulation is a type of regulation where the expression of gene is diminished or suppressed in the presence of regulatory elements is called negative regulation. And the elements that modulate this negative regulation is said to be repressors. Purpose of gene regulation is first one is the adaptation. So cells of multicellular organism respond to varying conditions. Such cells, when exposed to hormones or growth factors, substantially change in their structure, that is shape, growth rate, and other characteristics. The second is tissue-specific differentiation and development. The genetic information present in each somatic cell of an organism is practically identical. Cells from muscle and nerve tissue show strikingly different morphologies and other properties, even though they contain exactly the same DNA. This is because of the diverse property, which results in the differences in gene expression. Gene expression is the genetic information is regulated during ontogeny and differentiation of organism and its cellular components. So the basic difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic gene expressions are it is more significantly, it is more complex when compared to prokaryotes in number of reasons. First one is a large and complex genome. That is, the eukaryotes have larger and the complex genome when compared to prokaryotes. And in prokaryotes, there is no transcription and translation occurs together in prokaryotes, whereas in eukaryotes, uncoupled transcription and translation, that is, transcription occurs first and then translation. Then mRNA splicing occurs in eukaryotes, which is absent in prokaryotes. There are different cell types in eukaryotes, but there is no different cell types in prokaryotes. Absence of operons. Gene regulation in prokaryotes takes place by the switching on and off of the operons, whereas it is absent in the eukaryotes. Structure of chromatin. The structure of chromatin is more complex, and then it is when compared to prokaryote, it is less. Chromatin structure is more simpler. So these are the levels of gene regulation. This is a gene of DNA that should undergo transcriptional regulation to form a primary mRNA transcript, and this should undergo RNA processing changes to form an active mRNA. And this active mRNA, which is present in the nucleus, should go to the cytoplasm where the translation should take place. So when the mRNA is transported toward cytoplasm, this goes and attaches to the ribosomes of the endoplasmic in the cytoplasm and forms a protein. So levels of regulation of gene expression. In contrast to prokaryotic gene regulation, which occurs primarily at the level of transcription initiation, regulation of gene expression in eukaryotes can occur at many different levels, which include alterations in the DNA template, initiation of transcription, mRNA transcription modification and stability, and then synthesis, modification, and stability of proteins formed. The primary event of gene regulation is the transcription of DNA to RNA, which occurs in the nucleus. RNA transcripts are modified by capping, polyadenylation, and splicing. The resulting mRNA is then, which is now active, is exported to cytoplasm, where they become associated with the ribosomes, which are present in the endoplasmic reticulum or in the cytoplasm, which are located in the membranes of cytoplasmic reticulum. So once they are associated with ribosomes, these mRNA are translated into polypeptides. And this physical separation of events of gene expression makes it possible for regulation to control in different places. So this is what is happening. This is a chromatin, which is a complex structure. First, the chromatin remodeling should happen, where the nucleosomes and the scaffold, the dense chromatin structure should undergo remodeling to form a linear DNA. So this linear DNA should undergo transcriptional modification to form a pre-mRNA, that is inactive mRNA. So once the transcriptional control happens, the active mRNA is formed by the three different modifications called as 5' capping, polyadenylation, and splicing. So the active mRNA, which is now transcribed, is then transported to cytoplasm, where the ribosomes are present, which goes and attaches to the ribosomes, forming a protein. This process is called as translation. First one is a pre-transcriptional control. Under pre-transcriptional control, the first one is chromatin remodeling. That is, the linear DNA, which is now that is 2 nanometer in size, will bind to histone molecules, that is octamer structure, to form a nucleosome structure, that is 10 nanometer in size. This nucleosome structure contains to form a solenoid structure, and this solenoid contains more to form a scaffold structure. The more scaffold structure forms the entire chromosome. So chromatin remodeling, large regions of chromatin are transcriptionally inactive in some cells, and due to chromatin structure that hide DNA from transcription factors and enzymes. So to get that chromatin structure activated for the transcription factors and enzymes, the chromatin remodeling is required. There are two types of chromatin in the chromosomes. First one is heterochromatin, and the next one is euchromatin. Heterochromatin is a region which is highly compact, that is transcriptionally inactive, and the tight coiling is due to the high methylation of DNA. Methylation of DNA refers to inactivating genes and making unavailable for transcription, whereas euchromatin is lightly packed and it's transcriptionally active. This region undergoes acetylation. Acetylation of DNA makes it available for transcription by relaxing the DNA. Transcriptional control, here the enhancers and repressors comes into play. Enhancers function by serving as binding site for regulatory proteins. An enhancer is effective only in the specific cell types in which regulatory proteins are expressed. Enhancers can exert their positive influence on transcription even when separated by thousands of base pairs from a promoter. Promoter is a region where the transcription initiation takes place. They work when oriented in either direction, that is upstream direction or the downstream direction, that is 5' or the 3' Then comes the repressors. Repressors are the elements that decrease or repress the expression of specific genes in the gene expression. However, when a transcription factors bind to them, expression of a gene, the control is reduced. So these are the enhancers that goes and binds to the regulatory elements, making it more increasing the gene expression. Transcription factors and mediators, which are attached to the activators. So these are activators, these are regulatory elements, and this is a place where the enhancers comes and binds to them, making it increasing the gene expression. In case here the repressors are present, this activators doesn't come into play, where it becomes as repressors that decreases the rate of gene expression. Then comes the post-transcriptional control. The initial RNA or the transcribed RNA is not functional. So the mRNA or the any form of RNA which is formed should undergo a series of modification to become functional. The first one is the modifications include 5' capping, splicing, and poly-A tailing. 5' capping is a modification where 7-methylguanosine is added to the 5' end of the mRNA. Splicing, removal of introns and bringing exons together. This is necessary because introns are that is not expressed and exons are expressed. So this splicing should occur for the compressing the structure of the DNA. So poly-A tailing, addition of polyadenine to the 3' end of the mRNA. All these modifications helps the DNA from degrading. Then comes a translation control. Here the genetic information from the messenger RNA, that is mRNA, is read and translated to protein. It takes larger ribonucleic protein compact ribosomes which are present in the cytoplasm. The translation is divided into initiation, elongation, and termination. The central concept of translation control is that gene expression can be regulated by the efficiency and utilization of mRNA in specifying protein synthesis. So this is a place where the mRNA, the functional mRNA, goes and binds to the anticodon. That is the codons which are present in the mRNA goes and binds to the anticodon that is taken by the tRNA. And based on the complementarity, the amino acids are present, and each amino acids are attached by a peptide bond, forming a polypeptides. And this polypeptides, a more number of polypeptides form a protein. This happens, this continues, the formation of amino acids polypeptides continues until a stop codon comes into play. Once a stop codon comes and binds to a tRNA, there the translation of mRNA to a protein stops. And these are my references. Thank you.